Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the ZRacing Best of Series for December 2023. I'm Nathan Guerra Dave Towle next to me, and we are out on the Castle to Castle for one lap today. Dave, it's going to be fast and furious one lap. We've got the feather, we've got the draft, we've got the Aero for the power-ups. We're jumping in with the Bs, the Cs, and the Ds today. There are over 90 racers in the Bs, 150 in the C category, so definitely a popular one for these categories. Going to be a lot of fun to cover it, and it's been right from the get-go. Attacks are kicking off here downtown Neokyo.
Yeah, castle to castle. I love that. Kind of like in space, going station to station, from safety to safety. Out here, getting into that second castle is going to be a big deal, as it's really interesting when you look at the way these races finish these days. It's really not what I'd call a bunch sprint. It's just frenetic on that last couple K run in. But you've really got to be in the group to be a part of that conversation. Not a lot of features to look at on the course here, Nathan. You really have to get over that kind of hump in the middle part of the course. And I think most of our athletes will do that. I do see a very cool name jumping in with our Bs. Charlotte Colclough is taking the start. Nathan, that's a name you know well from many Zwift Grand Prix, ZRL racing. She's a legend. And a legend slash monster, to tell you the truth. So watch out for Charlotte Colclough in our Bs today.
That'll be great to see how she performs out there today with the B category. Well, as you can see, as the kicked off here, plenty of riders, so many riders that it was hard to even find everybody out on course up toward the front. I do believe our buddy Manalo there from OTR was jumping off the front, but as you can see, it was a long line, even to hang on anywhere toward the front end of this race, and everybody had to sort themselves out immediately to make sure that they weren't getting dropped off. We had gaps right from the get-go, as you can see here, 1 second back at a moment here for some of these riders. I was expecting to be up toward the front, actually, as you do see them taking off from the pens. They have left Neokyo at this point, sorted themselves out a little bit, and it has calmed down. But as soon as they hit the little underpass and into the dirt, we saw this 3-up rider breakaway start to form. We've got at the front of this, it is going to be Swanson from Ram Racing, Manalo from OTR as well. Looking at Crawley, looking to come across out of the UK, and then it is also going to be Hibbert. But the pack is on top of this one quickly, Dave. I don't think they want to see this get too far up the road.
Yeah, you're playing with fire, no doubt about it. This is an old school start as we really drop the hammer right from the first castle, as they say. So Swanson, I'm not sure exactly what the plan is other than making things tough here, as we do have a long way to go. Again, with the feather draft and Aero power up, that's going to be critical. A little bit of luck is going to go a long way out here. As well, Swanson's feeling his oats, as they say, Nathan, really pushing hard right now on these Monday races. We talk a lot about the fact that we come here to race, not mess around and chew bubblegum. So they get after it very, very quickly. Hibbard, Sjogren, the Swedish rider that we've gotten to know pretty well here on Mondays, moving up towards the front. So, Nathan, they're not going to give too much leash here.
Yeah, we'll see what they end up doing with this. I mean, he is pulling well over category limits at this point, so perhaps maybe a newer racer. We'll have to wait and see where he's at as far as the Zwift power profile goes, if he's been on too many races or not. 429 watts, currently 4.8 watts per kilogram. It's pretty consistent in the A category, so maybe no category enforcement on him just yet, unless he starts to calm down. We'll wait and see if he does. But it may be just that he's early to his racing career on Zwift, and a lot of times if they don't have a lot of races, they do have to figure out where he stands. And so the Ram Racing rider, though, perhaps just giving it a go for quite a while here, and they're going to let him hang out there, and he might burn out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting to watch, as he is making some massive power numbers up there, that's for sure. So, and these guys right now, Nathan, a lot of experience in this group. B racing is really the sweet spot here, where these guys have got a lot of ability, a lot of knowledge, and they, in general, this is where you come to really sharpen your sword. And right now, most of these racers, Nathan, with the experience that they've got, realize that a rider dangling off the front 4K into a 23K slugfest is not a major problem. There's Charlotte sitting right in the sweet spot. That's experience right there. Can't get a better draft than what Charlotte Colclough is getting in the middle of our peloton right now. And it does look like everybody looks pretty content here on screen.
Yeah, fairly calm now as they will take on this first castle to castle section. It is just starting as they head underneath the banner. If you get a quick little bird's eye view of this, it does start to kick up into this little 4% grade. We saw the opposite direction actually last week in the ZRL coming downhill in the sprint on a course that went in the opposite direction. Now we're going to climb all the way to the top from the bottom of these fields. Rather than taking on the snaky sidewinder section into the castle, we have this long grind actually from here all the way to the top. Still off the front a little bit, but I think they're going to be chasing this down now as it is going to be a little bit of ups and downs here as they head up toward the castle, Dave. I absolutely love this section, of course, just from the views of it. As you do see, is that Mount Fuji off in the background here, Dave? It's really fitting to see that there.
Yeah, they're getting stuck in, and really the only climbing they're going to see out here today, or only even air quotes around significant climbing. Most of the riders sitting back in this peloton looking pretty comfortable. You can see, though, that other riders in a second group that's forming probably not too happy about that. And it looks like they're going to close down that gap. This is Dark Night that Nathan has found.
Oh man, I didn't know we were going to be having. I'm trying to think of all the actors that have played Batman and which one this one could be coming out of Spain here as he makes his way up and over the top of the climb. 38 kilometers per hour currently is about the speed that he is producing. He's going to ramp up just a little bit in a second here. If we head to the front of this race, though, you can make a comparison at 37 so you can see exactly why they're starting to bring this rider back into the fold. Now the separation, though, at the back here, Dave, that's the question marks for a lot of riders that are back there is, are they even going to be able to hang on? If we can get to the back of this pack, we'll see, give you an idea of how many splits are actually be taking place.
Yeah, this is really the Swanson effect that we're looking at now, Nathan, as he pushed the pace so hard through the first 5K that the stronger B riders were able to sit up in the peloton, but some of the other riders that maybe have just moved up from C to B or in the back half of that B category are really, really struggling right now. As this is tough, and this is what makes you a better racer is fighting through these moments. I like it, Ely. Don't get dropped cycling. Well, that's pretty appropriate to this very moment, as a lot of riders are really fighting. This is what racing is all about, never giving up, but very, very consistent to how racing will break your heart as well. These guys are going so hard that they've split this field. I'd say starting with 90, Nathan, there's not going to be many that I would think by the time we get through this sector, there's not going to be many more than 30 riders in the front group.
Yeah, and this is Eric Lee from Don't Get Dropped Cycling. He's got his own YouTube channel, probably one of the more popular YouTube channels for Zwifting, actually. We're probably going to see a video of this afterwards. Absolutely great that he's most likely recording right now for this. So appreciate that Eric's jumping in with us for this broadcasted event. And it'll be, this for him to be up toward the front of this B category race right now, I'm really impressed with Eric's ability. And if he can try and get a top 10 or a win or a podium, it'd be absolutely awesome to see. So good luck to Eric out there. And also with his YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely go and check it out. It's a ton of fun. He's absolutely hilarious and does some of the best work when it comes to making Zwift racing a lot of fun for replayable content for sure. Sitting about 26th right now at this point. I don't think anybody's off the front though, Dave. I think that's going to be the initial splits for this one time up and over the top of this climb. We do have Swanson here off the back after his initial attacks, actually, but it's going to be actually Langstraat now at this point that's making the moves at the front.
Well, everything copacetic, A-OK. I agree with you about Mr. Lee as well. Danny, Enzo, and E. Lee put out some of the best content there as we take a look at our front group. If you've made this group, I think you've survived that first run through the gauntlet out here, Nathan, and really should be feeling quite chuffed about your chances here. There's D Knight, again, our Dark Knight. Ronald Langstraat with us from the Netherlands, and he's working hard. Look at that heart rate at right under 170 here, and that's what it takes to stay up in our front group. We really have established the apex predators out here today, Nathan. They're on your screen. Your winner of this race is actually on that screen right now. I made it easy for myself, as you can see the second group right now as well, and to get a good look at what that gap looks like right here as we're coming up on a third of the way in. We've gone over that hump now, so let's see what these guys want to do with this, Nathan. I have to think if you're in this group, everybody wants to pitch in a little bit here to not allow that second group to rejoin. I start looking at the numbers now for riders in this group. Who is our best sprinter who's made this selection?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. We'll see if we can try and figure out exactly who the favorites are. With 26 different riders, I wonder if we're going to see a couple of attacks yet. I mean, we've got 23.1 kilometers in total. So they've got a little ways to go here still. They've done an initial climb. 74. Go ahead, Dave.
And I was answering my own question, Nathan. I was going to have you search for Dimanche for me, but he's there. He made the group. This is going to be one of the danger riders, no question. When you look at the raw wattage here, that's Spencer Morris, the Canadian that I'm talking about, going the Dimanche team, I should say. He makes 1,250 raw watts. He's not the only rider up in that neighborhood, as Joachim, one of the BZR Lions, is close, but it's going to be the heavy hitters looking around, taking some inventory to see possibly, Nathan, you kind of want to get a feel for who you're going to be sprinting against at this point, although it's awfully hard to do much research at this point. Most of these riders probably have a decent feel for who the better sprinters are, but that's going to be Mr. Morris right there, Spencer Morris that we were talking about, who comes in at 1,250 raw watts. That helmet there reminds me of that old sea scheme that they use for painting ships. Completely camouflage. That's seafaring camouflage on his helmet.
He's a sprinting zebra. That's what he is for me. This is a sprinting zebra.
Zebras are quick, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're super quick. I mean, unless there's some sort of lion in here, I don't know. Watch out for Lee. Lee might be a lion. We'll see if he can escape the pack out here today. But 10 seconds back now at this point. Spencer, if he wants to win this one, they might want to hold off some of the other riders. I wonder if they're going to work together. But making a 27-rider group, there's not a whole lot of working together, is there, Dave? Like sometimes, let's speak to that just a little bit, right? Like,
it's a weird number. It's like It's like going out to dinner with 20 people. You can't talk to everybody, right? And maybe that's not the best analogy.
Actually, I think that's a great analogy. Actually, like, you can't get any soup. Like, you have to go off in a corner and have a conversation, to get a real conversation going. Well, Manalo, as he usually does from OTR, trying to get off in a corner, have a conversation. Not sure that's going to be happening, but.
It reminds me, Nathan, of any kind of group project as well. You get 27 people, it's probably going to be 3 or 4 that are really doing the work, and that's the same thing here. But that second group behind them, they're going to have that same problem. It looked to me like it was close in size, the second group a little bit smaller. This is going to be fun to watch, to tell you the truth, with a little over, let's call it 14K of racing. Let me put the pressure on you, Nathan, as far as if you're in this front group, how much work do you want to do if you come to win the bike race today? The name of the game is do as little as possible. Oftentimes I remember back in being in team cars, Nathan, what you'll hear from directors would be, okay, do work, but don't do any more work than the other top guys.
Real quickly here, Dave, I just want to highlight 44 kilometers per hour currently from the front group. That's what we're looking at for Martin. He's in the front group right now. Now at 46 kilometers per hour, 44 from this chase group. So it's starting to go out now as they hit this little bit of an uphill grind to really tell us what kind of speed differentiation between these two groups right here. As they jump back up at the 48, 50 almost kilometers per hour in that front group, I do think it's going to continue to walk away. They're going to have to really put some work in, I think, in this chase group at this point to try and bring that back, because they're consistently with Martin at that front group here starting to put in some good work, and it looks like there may be even some attacks going as it starts to split here at the front.
Yeah, that actually is good for the speed on the front. I think that will actually keep it faster for them. We're really right now at the farm running the sorting table. We've got a couple bushels of apples, and we've got the faster apples and the slower apples. But every now and then some of the fast apples end up back in that slower apple group. Let's see if they can do.
I had no idea apples raced bikes. I mean, we've got the Dark Knight out here. We're at the apple orchard. I mean, this farm. Is absolutely.
Right. No, you know what I'm saying?
The craziest broadcast I've ever been a part of. I love it.
There's a good reason why you're in that second group. It's because you didn't make the split, right? So,
it does
typically
look like
that's not a great sign.
We may have missed something here, though, a little bit earlier. Did we have some come, like 1 or 2? Rejoin, or I mean, was that just
a bridge across, maybe?
Or perhaps it was just that fast that it separated. I think that's actually what went down there. I think it was so fast that there was just a big separation that happened for a moment there because of those attacks.
Well, and I would have to say that this race, just from the gun, was ballistic. There were riders fighting to hold the wheel as they rolled underneath the start truss. To tell you the truth, this is Nick Brackenridge that we're with now, racing out of the United Kingdom. Level 41 Zwifter, but you can just see the form that he's got on the bike. This is a guy who's purpose built to race bikes, Nathan.
Yeah,
See,
100%. Looks
feel
like
the angle of his
looks
effort
pretty
there.
looks pretty experienced, that's for sure. He was able to close things down coming from Cryogen. Great team to be a part of, that's for sure. Still a part of this top 28 though, but at the front again, the moves are being made. I saw an ATP jersey, I felt like, up toward the front, really starting to press the pace. That's going to be Ray here, actually, from ATP, covering some moves here. Ken Ray trying to hold on, it looks like, at this point, as it is again off the front, Swanson from Ram Racing.
Very pro headshot there from Ken Ray. Swanson's definitely going to be raising some eyebrows with these efforts out here as he is back at it now, hitting hard and stringing out this group almost single file at this point, Nathan. That's a sign that these guys are full gas out here.
Yeah, it definitely is. And as it is brought back together, Manalo now again over the top. These heart rates are most likely through the roof, and a lot of these riders here starting to dangle off the back. The cream of the crop here, it's rising to the top now, Dave, as we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 riders just barely hanging on. What I want to highlight, though, here, look who's sitting pretty here still. Charlotte Kolkloff here waiting for that kick to the line.
Beast mode activated by Charlotte. Nathan, it's pretty rare at this level, this far into a race, that you see riders getting dropped out of a front group. If you think about it, I mean, they're fighting their way back now, so they didn't get dropped, which kind of backs up what I was saying, in that if you've made it to 13K with this rugged group, I would anticipate that you should be able to at least hold the wheels, and that's what they're doing. Charlotte Kolkloff, this is great for her. You know, we've talked a lot about the top women in the sport stepping up, and as they look to increase their ability level, one of the best ways to do that is racing against stiff competition, and that's what she gets jumping in with this group of a high-level B field here. But Charlotte, well positioned, Nathan, showing how savvy she is.
Yeah, very well done here. Able to hang on with this front group. Now, let's get a quick look here at the map of what these riders are going to be taking on once they hit Neokyo, because it isn't necessarily it's going to be pretty flat actually for the rest of the race from here on out, but that does give a lot of opportunity in Neokyo to try and get away around corners, out of sight, out of mind kind of situations. So I think that's what these riders have in mind as they are hitting this dirt section, Dave. It does slow people down a little bit, not a whole lot anymore as things have changed a little bit in Zwift, but as you can see, it does cause some separation as it's going to be Hartley there, Ranfard. It's going to be Bios also from SPSD out of Belgium. Ray here coming across, Rashid as well out of the Netherlands. Still some separation a little bit there. It almost snapped the elastic, Dave, each time, but it just barely comes back into a fold here. You can see it's like right on that 7th or 8th wheel, just hanging on.
Well, Dan has got to be champing at the bit right now. Talking about Dan Manolo, Nathan, you've mentioned him a few times, the OTR racer. He's the rider to beat in this group, in my mind, especially for him right now. He has to love seeing Swanson burning as many matches as possible. So that's going to definitely increase his chances of taking a sprint win out of this group. If it comes down to a sprint out of this group, Nathan, that's far from guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, with the number of attacks that we've seen so far, this group seems extremely motivated. I don't think that they're definitely not sitting around and waiting. That's for sure. I have a feeling that there's going to be plenty more to come here when it comes to these attacks.
Today's the day, Nathan. We've talked about this. I love the fact that we've just been in full effect with the broadcast. And I remember we were talking about how rare it is that a rider leads coming out of the arcade to go to the finish line in Neokyo. And I have a feeling that we might see that today.
Real quickly, taking a look at the course profile. As you can see, they did take on that KOM, and then these next 3 sprints, there will not be any points or anything through those sprints as they're about to take on that first one. Just an idea, though, of what the course will be like from here on in. They're going to be entering the Neokyo. This is what they just took on, and then we'll be taking this left-hand turn, and then the rest of those sprints going to get a little windy through the castle there, and then the final sprint downhill, as you can see on the other side. So that's going to be the situation, and we're back in with the just taking that left-hand turn into that first sprint section. And already, Dave, the attacks off the front, there are going to be about 4 or 5 riders with Swanson again. Now it's going to be 5 riders, actually. Swanson, Boss, Hartley, Ray, and Ranford all off the front. 1 second. Eric Lee here trying to close it down. It looks like he's going to trust Langstrat. No, he's not going to hold on to the wheel, though. Now we've got 6 here now, Dave. This is starting to get dangerous as there's one after another going across, barely jumping back on. Now there could be a counter, though. That would be the real move, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, Nathan. 100%. I mean, the racing is in the gutter now, and this is when you really can have an impact if you're willing to go deeper than anybody else. And that's what racing at this level is all about. Who's willing to really scrape the bottom of that wattage barrel? Well, right now we're going to hit the reset button. I'm really looking forward to this next. And there you go, another attack. It looks like we're going to see Reckers here as the Nederlander hits out. But if you're going to get a gap, you're going to have to do it with a little more authority than that. You're going to have to wail away with the 20-pound sledgehammer for about 30 seconds to even establish a 2 or 3 second gap. And then you wonder, is it worth it? But here we go. This is the man to watch in my mind, as Dan Manalo here, the OTR rider, is definitely showing them, right now, I'm not exactly sure what his plan is other than positioning to the front. And that might be enough as Swanson goes again.
Over the top again here from Swanson. Ray trying to hold on to the wheel. It looks like 4.7 watts per kilogram. He's got it still. If we get this third-person perspective from behind the wheel, gives you exactly what it looks like as it starts to roll away from him just a little bit here. So as Swanson goes again, Ray not holding on, 159, 160 beats per minute as their heart rate starts to come up. Now, Dave, familiar helmet on this rider. Definitely somebody who's got some experience when it comes to Zwift racing as well.
The champ is in the house, as that's a ZRL league champion helmet there. It's all going to come back together, Nathan. ATP, one of the really strong teams in the Zwift universe. And with Ray here, though, they're going to make the catch. Langstraat has been very, very active. Look where Charlotte Kolklop is sitting, right in the sweet spot. Will her experience and ability pay off? I mean, you want to talk about punching above your weight. There's no question. This isn't, Nathan, a course that suits her, but she's just that good.
Yeah, now it looks like these riders are starting to allow this to get away a little bit here. Now, Swanson now calming down, though, at 3.4 watts per kilogram. So Swanson here only holding on to a couple of seconds. Manalo now over the top. This is a perfect situation, though, to come across as they're hitting up to 5 watts per kilogram here. Over the top of that little downhill, 3% negative gradient now. Speeds are going to start picking up as Manalo kicks 4.3. And is he going to get a little separation here? That's what he's been looking for. He's going to back off. He's not interested, it looks like. He backs right on off. He just wanted to shut it down.
Yeah, exactly, Nathan. I really think that that was all about closing down that move from Swanson, because you see, once that is done, he's just really regulating things up near the front of this group. So that's Dan Manalo that we've been talking about. Everybody back together now. So we can this is really the first moment, Nathan, that we've seen any kind of a reprieve in this group. Really wondering now, this is the moment that everybody's tapping their finger, wondering what's next.
Really has opened. You were right about the attacks, Dave. It has really opened up here at this point, because it has only helped this group gain up to 1 minute and 7 seconds now at this point. So the attacks have kept the speed really high, starting to separate again out a little bit at the back here. As there's been some riders, though, sitting in. Do we spot anybody in this group, Dave, that maybe has been just kind of allowing everybody else to do their work? We're not going to really do too much here at this point and just make sure that they've got everything they need. Spencer, yeah, actually.
That's the guy for me, Nathan.
I think you're right. Patrick
Dan's
Molinari, I've sprinted against Molinari, I think, before in a B race. I'd watch out for Molinari as well. That's somebody who, from Jet Racing, I think, who's also got a pretty good kick. He can do 14 watts per kilogram, 1,100 or so. And then Spencer Morris. I think those two, Dave, if they can set themselves up correctly, they're really the ones to watch out for, aren't they? Manalo as well. You're right. Yeah, 15.9. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What?
Scott Hoish is an interesting rider. Nathan, do you know much about komhunt.tv? I don't, so I'm going to have to research that.
Yeah, he hangs out. He's definitely been around quite a bit when it comes to the YouTube spaces, as well as he hangs out in the broadcast quite often. So definitely somebody that is enjoyable to have around for sure. And he will most likely have a replay of some of this. Now, What is going on here with Patrick Molinari? That's not
scaring me.
What's happening here?
He looks very serious about his Zwifting.
You know, I mean, I'm not trying to like this is a man who's looking to be the dictator of the pack. That's what I'm going to say. Like, it gives me some feelings here of like, did I just bring up a anyways, I'm going to leave
character of the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not going to bring in any other in real life names as far as that goes. But man, talk about a picture. Dude, this guy is serious business. Watch out for him. He's also verified, just so you know. That's like a real stamp. It looks like they're coming on through. So
just looking at his picture, I wouldn't question him. I would just take his word for it.
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. So
all right,
again,
well, the age-old question, Nathan, is this going to be a sprint or a solo rider with a small gap coming across the line? Small meaning something under 5 seconds. Anything more than that is just unimaginable to me. Back to Swanson, the Ram Racing rider on the front. His FTP's got to be going up.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been definitely consistently well over the top of that. Well, you can see 4.0 watts per kilogram getting chased down over and over again. Yeah, so I think most likely going to get perhaps a recategorization. But I mean, that's a part of racing. That's definitely a part of racing. We'll see how that ends up.
This is how you find out in some ways, right? Especially as you were saying, Nathan, with all grace and respect, that sometimes if you haven't done a lot of racing and you're really good, we just don't have enough data points on you.
Yeah, 100%. So we're in with Boss now, and Boss Jordy coming out of Belgium, tall rider, and currently sitting at 425 watts, it looks like, as he drags that avatar around these final few kilometers. What do we got here, Dave? We've got about 3K to go. 3K to go at this point. One more little sprint banner that'll be coming through, and that'll be it here. I wonder how Lee's going to do. It's going to be interesting to see, because I'll be excited to see that replay on the YouTube if he does take this down. Eric, though, I don't know if he's got the sprint, though, to match with some of these pure sprinters out here. I think he tends to be a hang-on and threshold-type rider, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get onto the podium. But I think with Morrison here, Molinari, Manalo, those are the big names when it comes to the sprint today, as long as it stays together. But we still got one that continues to try and ride off the front.
Sending a ride on to Charlotte Kolkloff. This, I saw some riders commenting that this is the hardest B race ever, and it would be hard to argue that. And it looks like we've got that attack, Nathan. So this is it, the hero attack, as we've been calling it, late in the race, just a little more than 2K to go. I see a lot of ride-ons being thrown out to our riders. It's Swanson, no surprise. This has been the story of the day. So Swanson attacking. He's gone all in, gap to 3 seconds. We talked about maybe today is the day that we see that solo attack coming through the arcade. Swanson wants to be the man. It's Ranfjord here, the Swedish Swifter, who's leading the chase. It's all on the line now, Nathan.
Yeah, and here we go here. Ranfjord, is he going to be able to close this down? Are they going to work together is to be the big question. I'm not sure they're going to here now, Dave. Yep. I mean,
looks good.
Knight now to the front. Really low heart rate, actually, for Knight. So he's just rolling through here. 5 seconds now at this point. 5 seconds over less than 2K, Dave. That's danger, in my opinion.
It absolutely is danger, but I think if this group can be cohesive and work together, they're still in with a better than 50-50 chance of making that catch. Swanson has been phenomenal today. There's no doubt about that. I'm watching those wattage numbers, though. They're starting to fade, so Swanson is paying the price. Well, there it goes back up. So this is going to be interesting now. Will Swanson have enough in the tank to be able to hold off this hard-charging group? This is not the Peloton. This is a select group of danger men and women. Remembering that Charlotte Kolkloff is in this group. That'd be phenomenal to see her take a win, but now they're starting to attack out of the chasing group. And Nathan, here we go. We're going to be down to the red kite prayer in just a moment. 1K to go. It's on like Donkey Kong here on Monday morning.
What a move here from Boghoff from backpedal. Now put over the top. It's going to be Ranfjord here now as well, coming from Team SZ, and it's going to be that drafting power that's giving it to him. 1K to go. 1K to go now at this point, and this is the danger move here to stay away from the sprinters. 8 watts per kilogram, and Dave, I don't know that this is coming back here. Boghoff can't hold on. 6 watts per kilogram coming from him. Now Ranfjord, he's going to be backing off now at this point, I think. I'm not sure he can hold that kind of wattage all the way to the line.
But he's still Yeah, he's still up and over the top. It looks like he's going to do it, Nathan. I mean, he's got still a ways to go. Oh, boy. And this is the moment now where the advantage tips back to the chase as he's running on fumes. He's tapping that gauge, and it's showing empty. There's nothing in the tank. And, oh, wow, it looks like Volkov now, the back pedal rider, has got him in his sights. There's just enough real estate left to make the catch, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see. It's like watching a lion taking down an injured antelope on the Serengeti. There's the catch. There's the kill. But is it enough if someone's going to kill the killer?
No, Knight over the top. Is he going to be able to take it? No, it's going to be Pearson. Pearson with the last kick. And I'm not sure who's going to grab this, Dave. It's just this drawn out Pearson. Pearson to the line now. Knight, wow. Morris there takes third. And Dave, I think it was such a drawn out sprint that Morris there was no kicking moment. There was no moment to just go up and over the top and completely take down a pure sprint. It was just so drawn out, Dave, that nobody had the opportunity.
Absolute sufferfest in that, well, the entire race out there. That will go down as the hardest B race in Zwift history, I would have to think. So going to go back and take a look at really the last K. There was so much going on left, right, and center. I mean, it was easy to think that this was the winning move, Nathan. Turned out to not even really be close.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. I mean,
well,
you're
what
right.
does close mean?
Yeah,
right,
it was for in his mind, he was probably like so close. But yeah. Dave, in the final there, it changed positions like 3-4 times. We can probably count them here in just a second here to see how many times we thought somebody else was going to win this thing.
What's the lesson then? You know, every time you race, you should come away a smarter racer. And I mean, we talk a lot about patience in these sprints, positioning, patience, timing, all of these things come into play here. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, your winner was at this point still 50 meters behind our leader as we watch everything change in rapid succession here.
Yeah, and up and over the top, it looks like it is D Knight that's going to continue to lead them out. He's got that Aero power up. Here comes Pearson with the perfect timed kick there, up into 13 watts per kilogram. I thought for sure, though, that 13 from Morris was going to make it happen, but it just was not enough. Was it the Aero power up actually that made that happen there, Dave? I think that's what that was.
Yeah,
because it was.
He had part of it.
He definitely had less to the line than what Morris had, but the reality was that there was just so much speed from that Aero power up. It was just unable to do anything about it.
Wow, that was a phenomenal B race out here, castle to castle. That'll be a fun one to remember, and it goes to show you, as we've said many times, racers make the race out here. Good job yourself, Dan Manalo there, OTR racer, who was very active today. Certainly we're going to come away, everybody who was in this group, with a better understanding of how to close out a finish. And also shout out to Charlotte Colclough today. Great job, Charlotte.
Seeing if we can jump in with our C category as quickly as we possibly can. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of difficulty for that, so apologies on that, everybody. We are single Zwifting it here when it comes to our setups here, and we are just... I think coming into a sprint finish, actually, with the C category, just barely able to jump in with them at the end of their final here. So good to see that we're able to.
Oh, and all they got to be pretty happy with their pace, Nathan. It hasn't been that long since the B's finished, and these guys they are already into their finale here. So very quick race for the C's today.
Definitely, and it's going to be Grosset here, coming across here out of France. Nice little kick here, and this is that final. You know, we saw something very similar to this in the B category, as you can see. Up and over the top, one after another. Going to come under this bridge, and Grunberg here from AAC, the teammate of Pearson. Is he timing it correctly? A little bit better, perhaps, here, but now the last kick here coming from Prop right to the line. It's going to be close here. Dave Prop pulls it off. Nice little sprint there. This is definitely a learning lesson, I think, about when to go in that specific section. Now, I wasn't able to catch it necessarily, but I'm wondering, is there a little bit of a uphill grind underneath that bridge? Yeah. Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, there's a sneaky little climb there.
There it is,
You're
1%. That's it, isn't it?
right. Yeah, it's not much, but it's a launch pad is really what it is. It gives you a chance to find that little bit more that you need. I got to give props to Prop. That was timing extraordinaire there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool actually. He did a pretty good job on the time, because I mean, it looked to me like Spencer tried something similar. I think Spencer just didn't have the Aero power up. I think that's what it came down to, because in the other race it was definitely in the B category, the Aero power up from Pearson is what actually made it happen for him, it looked like.
Yeah, with Prop, it was just sheer willpower out there. The Nederlander, Martin Prop, taking the win for the WKG 111 team. Team WKG. Average watts per power. Nathan, he was exceptionally efficient out there today. 2.7 watts per kilo. Everybody else in the top 10 is over 3. Some riders finishing outside of the top 10, even over 4 watts per kilo. Martin Prop is a Zwift master.
I love this guy's profile picture. That gigantic bike.
He's got you know what? They always give you advice, right? But that frame is too big for him.
He's got an orange bike. Okay,
lower your seat. You're gonna need to lower his seat.
But like, look, he's got an orange bike in game, and he's got an orange bike like that he's hanging out by there. I think this guy's all about the orange bikes. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's Eddie orange, Eddie Merckx orange, isn't it? That kind of burnt orange. I love it. Not that far from Zwift orange in a lot of ways. Martin, good job today. Congratulations, my friend.
Well, we are seeing if we can jump across to the D category here in just a second, but having a little bit of trouble doing so. As soon as
the D's would be my category, and I know that we would still be racing.
Yeah, I think they're. Yeah, there's
to be fair to us,
there's a little bit of climbing out there today. I'm trying to get in with Ben Turner. Actually, shout out to the Zwift Crushing Daddies, ZCD boys. I think he might be able to help us out here. We're having a little bit of trouble. Sorry, everybody.
Martin,
we're still
nailed that sprint.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. Yeah, so we are trying to get some updates on some tools, everybody, to be able to jump across categories a little bit easier. But we're not quite there yet. And we, with some of our awesome new stuff that we're doing, it does interrupt, though, our ability to maybe get across as easily. So I know a lot of you do show up to try and get in and see. Oh, well, of course I say that. And then the moment I say that, boom, we're in with the D category right at their finish, actually, as you can see here. So interesting enough, this is the final sprint, it looks like. And it is going to be Turner battling it out with a Zed Sun rider, as well as Howard there from Rhino Racing to the finish line. Sorry, I almost caught it there, you guys. It was right at the finish, but unable to get you any good images across with that. So thanks for your patience, though, everybody. We're working as best as we possibly can to try and get that stuff across for all of you and make sure that we can get all of the categories covered on the day. But let's go ahead and see if we can get some results, though, in for everybody. In the A category, we'll start with them, as they were out there racing, but it was a little bit smaller field out there today. And the ZRacing, we tend to focus in on the B's, the C's, and the D's, as the rest of the week tends to be focused in on the A category a lot of time. But it was Autocar here in 1984 on the front there, taking it down with a solid 1 second gap over Paulo from the F Cancer team. It's going to be David Squilari from the Beast there in third, Matthias Walbeck in for fourth, Carlos Rice in fifth, Matthew Collins followed up by Mate Marcina, Kim Villarino from DZR, Andres Boberg, and then Roman Chenaud. That's going to be your riders there in the A category. In the B category, Dave, you want, that's not the B category. I thought it was going to be the B. There we go. Pearson at the top.
Great. Thanks, Nathan. And this was the race that we really enjoyed out here today. P.A. Pedersen of AAC for the win. Dark Knight coming through for silver, and Spencer Morris, the American of Dimanche, will round it, or Canadian for Dimanche, rounding out our top 3. Niklas Alkvist for 4th today, also racing for AAC. So if this was a ZRL, they'd be loving it. It's OTRs. Dan Manalo, who was very active today, animating things for 5th. Jordi Baus in 6th. Takumi Itsusaki of the Jet team in 7th. Miroslav Popugayev in 8th. Vegard Halverson in 9th. And rounding out our top 10 for the Bees was Mick Boykov of Backpedal. Really fun to follow along with the racing today. Got to give a shout out to Charlotte, though, Nathan, in 11th.
Yeah, Charlotte Kolkloff, that's a really good result amongst this high-powered B category, averaging 4.2 watts per kilogram for the duration there, and a solid little kick at the end to hold on to 11th place. Martin Ranfeld, he definitely was an instigator today. He took that leap of faith in himself there at the end, didn't he, Dave, but was unable to hold on. Good move by him, though. It is going to be Ronald Lakestride there for 13th and Chris Redhead there for 14th. Marcus Georgian in 15th place. There's Eric Lee holding on for 16th out there. Didn't get dropped cycling. And keeping to the name, Dickie Hibbert there for under 17th. It's going to be Andrea Ferrero, Team Italy, in 18th. Ken Ray, ATP, in 19th. Pierre-Louis Borget, NCT. He's in 20th place. That's your top 20. We'll go to 30 while we load up the C's.
Great. Wouter Reckers makes 21st his place today. Rashid for Zed Sonar in 22nd. Massimo Ferronato for 23rd. Patrick Molinari, the Jet Racer, in 24th. Callan Swanson of Ram Racing in 25th. Paul Hartley for 26th today. Zivsek Bartold in 27th. Scott, the KOM Hunter, in 28th. It's Steen Skovlarsson in 29th, and then 30th was Jesus Macias today for the Hispania team. That's your top 30.
Well, Martin Prop, we saw that in the C category, taking out that first place in this Castle to Castle stage at number 2. Andreas Gunberg takes down second. It's going to be Rolf Smith in 3rd. Paul Sykes in 4th, followed up by Thomas Delaney in 5th place. Henrik Andresen Melby in 6th place. Alex Grosset in 7th. It's going to be the Bibelbrox. Bon, he comes on through for 8th. Good to see Bibelbrox out there. We'll get some coverage for you hopefully next week, Bibelbrox. Good to see you. 9th place there for Andrea Sotogio in 9th. And Gru, well, it looks... Dave, now, is that just for us, I wonder? Or because we've been chatting here and there about Despicable Me on the, I think a little while ago on, it might have been the podcast, or was it in one of our broadcasts here? It was the podcast.
Anna thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Her kids probably are into it, I would think.
But good to see Gru hanging out here with, we were talking about the Minions on the podcast. That's what it was. Okay. And,
is Gru the bad guy that they're...
He's actually the protagonist. He's a bad guy who turns into a good guy. Throughout Despicable Me. It's a whole kind of he's a bad dude who just needs some
needed a little loving, or
needs some love and some healing. That's what he needed. Yeah. So it's good stuff. That's our top 10 in the C's. Let's see if we got some D category top 10 for everybody. We did see Ty Diddy come on through for I don't know if that's I think maybe a taken personality. I have a feeling there, but good job to Ty Diddy Senior there. Maybe not. I don't know. Ben Turner coming in through for 2nd. He's for the Swift Crush and Daddies. Roland Howard in 3rd, followed by Holger Henrik in 4th. Andres Bachmann. Good to see Andres out there for 5th place there. Kristen Victorson in 6th. Joseph Zussman in 7th place. Chris Lee in 8th. David Finland in 9th. And Carl Gleaves. That is our top 10 in the D category. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for our coverage here on the stage number 2 for the best of series for this December. We are broadcasting stage number 3. Number 4 is on Christmas Day. I might that one is up to Dave, because I actually my Christmas is celebrated a little differently this year, so I do have, but I don't know if anybody's gonna show up on Christmas, so we may leave that unscheduled just so everybody knows. But we do have assets for it ready to go. But then I went to go schedule it, and I was like, ooh, Yeah, I don't know about that one, but we'll definitely be here for next week, everybody. And then the next 2 following weeks, though, it's Christmas and then it's New Year's Day. So, like, we're kind of like, I don't know about the next 2 ones. We'll see about that, everybody. New Year's Day may be one where everybody needs to go ride their bikes, though. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I will leave that up to you. I always enjoy doing the broadcast, and I have no higher priority than this for sure. It's always a blast. So we've got a huge day tomorrow for sure. Looking forward to the 5th of 6 races that make up our ZRL season. I am stoked. We got a lot of great battles. I'm hearing from all kinds of folks who are coming up with some great plans for the racing tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really happy to reset for what's going to be it's going to be one of the biggest days we've had in ZRL this season.
Yeah, Muckle Yin is going to be absolutely crazy. I'm looking forward to covering it with you, Dave. I'm also really looking forward to. I did race it actually in the ZGP, and was not quite on form yet. But man, that's maybe just Nathan excuses. But like, I'm looking for redemption tomorrow night for sure, as well as I'm really excited to see everybody else and what they play. How they play their cards on the Muckle because that is one of the hardest courses, and racers can really, really make the race there. So it's going to be a lot of fun to cover. We also have a new club championship series that we're covering on Wednesday with Wahoo Lacole. We're doing a little bit of testing with them to see what's interesting out there in the racing scene. So make sure to show up for that. Obviously, we also have the BRAP. And then on Saturday, one of the biggest things in all esports, I mean, there's a lot of hype around it, Dave, and the Echelon Racing League. They're the new kids on the block when it comes to showing up in Zwift racing as of recently. Coming back to the platform. But wow, did they come out with a bang?
Yeah. And, one of the things that I love is seeing some, hard work paying off. And what Echelon Racing League is coming out of is years of work, and it's really starting to bear fruit. So come join us on Saturday. So we race every other Saturday. This Saturday, we're back on. And I highly recommend you come and join, enjoy, and jump in. If you've got a USA cycling license, you won't be disappointed. If it's your first ever, if it's the first time you've ever raced with us on Zwift, buckle up.
Yeah, and you do not have to be a U.S. citizen, everyone. Just so you know, that is, some people wonder if they have to be a U.S. citizen to race. No, you do not have to be a U.S. citizen to race in the Echelon Racing League. Now, when it comes to the national championships, that's a whole nother different thing. They are qualifiers for the national championships, but you do not have to. You don't have to be qualifying for national championships in order to race the Echelon Racing League. They're only attached as a qualifier. That is all.
Yeah, I recently learned you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to take out a USA cycling license.
Exactly.
So that's not a prerequisite for that. But as Nathan said, right, national champion is a different story. But all in all, it's just great racing.
100%. Well, you can find all of those broadcasts. They are already scheduled. Hit those notification bells over on our YouTube channel, or just make sure that you are subscribed and have your notifications for when we go live on our Twitch, our Facebook, our YouTube, obviously, as well as our Twitter. So, all right, everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in from Dave and I. We'll see you tomorrow for the Zwift Racing League, the Muckle again. It's going to be really exciting, but as always, we really appreciate all of you tuning in, and ride on.